Hi, welcome to Nomis Academy. We are still on quadratic equation. I want us to see examples of quadratic equation, solving quadratic equation using factorization method. Yes, I know you want to ask, is that the only way that we can factorize quadratic equation? No, because of some other cases of some kind of quadratic equation that can be given unto us. So let us go into what we have for today, solving quadratic equation. Solving quadratic equation, solving quadratic equation using factorization method. Factorization method. So using factorization method. So let's take some other examples. If you have not watched the previous videos, please watch them so that you can know what we have done earlier before this time. So this is going to be our example number 3. Now the question says solve 3x squared minus x equals to 0. So here, what do we have? We just have 3x squared minus x. So what can I do with this? To factorize this, solutions as simple as, do not get confused and do not think that you're not getting it. If the question comes this simple, you just to answer it that simple as well. What are the common factors here? I mean the common numbers here, the common terms here. We can see that here we have x and here we have x. That's the common terms. That is common in the equation is what you factorize out. So just say x into, then what will it take this x to complete 3x squared? That will be 3x minus, what will it take x to complete this x? By multiplication. So know it that you are multiplying it by multiplication, and that will be 1. Very good. So I just factorize 3x squared minus x equals to 0. Split it to be x is equals to 0, or 3x minus 1 is equal to 0. So I've gotten straight answer that x is equal to 0. So one of the factors of this quadratic equation is that x is equal to 0. So let us find the second one. The second one says 3x then equal to plus 1. So if I divide both sides by 3, divide both sides by 3, so x is equals to 1 all over 3. So the factors of this quadratic equation, just by solving it, is that x is either 0 or 1 all over 3. So these are the roots of this quadratic equation. So we've just gotten that. So let's take another example. Example number 4. Example number 4. And we have a question such as solve. Let me take the question. Solve, well, okay, we have 4x squared minus 1. So how do you solve this? Let us go into the solution, solving this. Now looking at it, is there anything I want to factorize? If I decide to factorize just like we did the previous one, then I will just have 1 outside the what? Outside the bracket. So if I want to use the same formula or the same method I solved example number 3, I would have just said 1 open bracket. I'll still have 4x squared. Maybe I'll not still have minus 1. I'm still repeating because 1 is the only thing that can be factorized out of this equation. So that is not the case this time around. So what we're going to do this time around is that we are going to look into it carefully, knowing fully well that we have a perfect square of the terms in that quadratic equation, meaning that this 4x squared can be written as 2x all raised to the power of 2. Is that true? Because it becomes 2 times 2, 4, x raised to the power of 2 is still there. Now minus 1 all raised to the power of 2. Oh, now you have what it looks like perfect square, or we call it difference of 2 squares. So we cannot use the difference of 2 square to factorize this. So if it is difference of 2 square, you have something like 2x squared minus 1 square. So meaning that in your bracket, one will be positive, and in your bracket, the other will be negative. That means that if I open my bracket, close it, open another one, close it, so I should have 2x minus 1 and then 2x plus 1. I just factorized that equation. That's quadratic equation. Now, know it fully well that we are to solve the quadratic equation, so this is not the end of solving it. However, for us to check, let me check, am I sure that this my factorization is correct? Let me open this bracket to see if I'll get back my initial equation. So that is to multiply it. You know how to do the multiplication. That is 2x multiplying this, the same 2x multiplying this, and then minus 1 multiplying this, the same minus 1 multiplying the other part. So I will have then 2x by 2x. So, okay, let's just go into it straight. Let me just write the answer without wasting our time. So, we say 2x multiplied by 2x, I have 4x squared. Then 2x multiplied by plus 1, that will be plus 2x. Then minus 1 multiplied by 2x, that will be minus 2x. Minus 1 multiplied by plus 1, that will be minus 1. So, if you look at it, we have 4x squared plus 2x minus 2x is 0 already. So, I'm left with minus 1. That tells that our factorization was very, very correct. Now let us go into solving the equation for the roots that we need to get from the equations. Now we can now split it by saying 2x minus 1 is equal to 0, or 2x plus 1 is equal to 0. So when we move down, we'll be able to tell that 2x is equals to 1, or 2x is equal to minus 1. So when we divide both sides by 2 at this part, we have x is equal to 1 all over 2, or then the other side we divide both sides by 2 as well, or x is equals to minus 1 all over 2. So no whatever the case, x is correct, whether x is 1 over 2 or x is minus 1 over 2. Now we just got the perfect what answers. I mean the root of the quadratic equation to be x equal to 1 over 2 or x equal to minus 1 all over 2. So now let's take example number 5 and see another type. We are asked to solve x all over 5 minus x squared equals to 0. So having known that this x is having a squared, we know that it's a quadratic equation. So what do we get to do here? Can we go into the solution properly? Solution. So first of all, to make it easier for yourself, can you make it a straight equation? How do I make it a straight equation that I will not have fraction? I can just multiply through by 5, being that 5 is what is making x over 5 to be a fraction. Therefore, x over 5 multiplied by 5 minus x squared multiplied by 5 is equals to 0 multiplied by 5. Remember that whatsoever you do to one side, you must do to the other side, so that we will not have our equation to be altered. Now we have 5 divided by 5, so we are left with x minus 5x squared equal to, we still have 0 here, right? So you can rearrange it to make it look like what you really understand. So this becomes minus 5x squared. Don't forget, this minus is important to be noted. So this is plus x equals to 0. So the next thing is to factorize. What do I have in common? We have x in common, so I pick x out into minus 5x, so that if I multiply it, I will have minus 5x squared. You get? So whenever you factorize, you look for what can complete that you intend to factorize, so that you can get a perfect one. So plus, what will it make x to remain as x? That will be 1. Are you getting it now? So we close the bracket, equals to 0. So if that is the case, we can then split it to be x is equals to 0, which is one of our roots. And the second one says minus 5x plus 1 is equals to 0, such that minus 5x is equals to minus 1. Now, what do I do next? I'll divide both sides by minus 5. Don't forget, we are just looking for the value of x. So minus 5. So minus cancel minus, 5 cancel 5. So x minus cancel minus here as well. X is equals to 1 all over 5. So the root of that quadratic equation is x equal to 0 or 1 over 5. Is that clear? Let's take on another example. They might look somehow strange, but when you look at them critically, knowing fully well that they are quadratic equations, you get to know how to maneuver your way to get them done. Let's see another example. So this should be our example 6, right? Good. Example 6. So this question says 4 squared. Okay, we should solve 4x squared is equal to 1 over 4. Ha. Now, what am I going to do? Solution. So the first thing we are going to do is to make them look alike and make it look like quadratic equation for real, so that 4x squared will be written 4x squared equals to 1 over 4 will be written as 4x squared minus 1 over 4 equals to 0. I believe you understand that. So having known this, I can take perfect square. When you look at it, just like the second one that we did, the third example that we did today. So we can take perfect square. So that will be 2x, difference of 2 square, 2x is the power of 2. If I open this bracket, I will have this back, right? Minus 1 all over 2 raised to the power of 2. If I open this bracket, will I have this back? Yes, because 1 multiplied by 1 is 1. 2 multiplied by 2 will still give me 4. You get it now? So now that I have done this factorization, take the difference of 2 square, so that when you open your bracket, close, open, close, you can have this part 2x minus 1 all over 2, or 2x plus 1 all over 2, so equal to 0. So now you can now separate them. You now have 2x minus 1 over 2 is equal to 0, or 2x plus 1 all over 2 equals to 0. Now, let's find the value of x. To find the value of x, so let me write at this side. So I can now take the first one to be 2x equals to, it was minus over 2, becomes 1 all over 2, so that I can divide both sides by 2. Divide both sides by 2. So 2 cancel 2. I'm left with x is equals to 1 all over 2. This division can change to multiplication, so that 2 over 1 becomes 1 over 2. So the value of x here is 1 all over 4. So let's check for the second one. That is the OR. When we have 2x equals to 1 plus 1 over 2 equals to 0. So it becomes equals to minus 1 over 2. Now I can now have 2. I can divide both sides by 2, right? Divide both sides by 2. Divide both sides by 2. So 2 cancel 2. Now I'm left with x is equals to minus 1 over 2. Now this my division can come to multiplication, such that 2 over 1 becomes 1 over 2 as well. So x is equal to minus 1 over 4. So x is equal to 1 over 4 or minus 1 over 4. I believe you know that 1 over 4 and minus 1 over 4 are not the same. In fact, 1 is bigger than the other one by far. 1 over 4 is bigger than minus 1 all over 4. So we have two values, two different values. So whenever we have to take difference of 2 square, you will see a pattern that whatsoever we have as our root, one being positive, the other being negative, looks alike, or let me say they are the same in terms of number, but not in terms of magnitude, meaning that one is bigger than the other one, being that one is positive and the other one is negative. I trust you that you understand everything that we did today. Bye bye. See you in our next video.